Hey guys, what's going on? I'm John Malecki and welcome to the new shop. So this is the entrance to the part of the shop that I'm gonna be subletting out. It's about 2,500 square feet and it's gonna be adjacent to the other part of the building that's gonna be rented out. So with that, I'm gonna use this area for lumber storage. I'm gonna keep the rack over here in this corner, as well as you can see this space heater, and then I'm gonna have some of my slabs displayed on the wall over here. As you guys know, I got a mill and I'm hoping to be able to dry out some of those slabs to use in the future, as well as sell to the general public. So here I'm gonna put a partition wall. Reason being, I'm gonna put some noise dampening, soundproofing type stuff in the walls. That way I can keep the shop nice and quiet from the retail space that I'll be sharing with, as well as this open space. So a couple things you wanna consider if you're gonna be doing something similar is the amount of space around your table saw, which is right behind you. So now that we're in the shop, we are at the table saw, and you are standing where the wall will be. That's if you were standing. And with that, I want to talk for a second about layout in a shop like this one and my thoughts on how it should be done. So I got the table saw in the heart of the shop here, and this is going to be 10 feet from that partition wall, so I can move a full sheet of plywood behind the table saw itself in order to feed it through the table. So one thing I'm gonna do different in this shop is I'm not gonna have the joiner next to the planer. I'm actually gonna put it next to the table saw. As you can see here, this is a little bit of a rough layout. So I'll be able to drop the piping here and then have all of the separate hoses going to each machine. Reason for doing that is the joiner is kind of awkward, and if you could put it against another tool or a wall, you're able to save space in the rest of the shop. So right next to the joiner and the table saw, I'm gonna have the miter saw station. I'm gonna be doing a pretty elaborate build out for the miter saw station, and it's gonna be close to 12 to 15 feet because I do have the space in this shop to do something like that. Thoughts being that I wanna keep the tools that I'm gonna be working wood in the milling stage as close as I can to the same workplace. That way I'm not hauling things all around the shop in order to get things broken down. So included in that miter saw station, I'm probably gonna have my Craig Foreman, perhaps my tenoning jig, like who knows what else I'll have over there. But it's gonna be a nice big work surface with lots of storage. That way I can eliminate the storage of some of the other parts of the shop that it was in my old setup. So on the back side of the table saw, I've obviously got an outfeed table. If you guys are familiar, I did the whole build out for this thing in my last shop. I got a couple videos and you can check those out down in the description below. But I am gonna be changing this up for this shop. Here I have 3/4 of the tables, outfeed table that I had in the last one, without the back cabinet. I think I'm gonna change this up, do something a little more usable for this type of shop layout. So then from here, we're gonna move to the planer and the drum sander. Now my thoughts being that I can move straight off of the outfeed table into the planer station and then back into the drum sander. So here we've got another 8 to 10 feet from the outfeed table to the planer and the drum sander. Thoughts being that if I want to move some big materials or longer stock, I've got plenty of room in the infeed and the outfeed sides to do so. So thoughts being by clustering these tools is that I can have one big drop for the dust collection that'll split off to both with blast gates on those, as well as power outlets coming down. This is a 110 volt machine, this is a 220 volt machine, so I'll have to do respective electrical work for each, but then I have the option for both at a single drop point. So moving now into the back of the shop, we've got the big bandsaw and the drill press. There's a metal room around here to the corner I'll show you in a second, and that's kind of why I have the drill press there, because I think I'm gonna be using it between both. The bandsaw here, I'm not quite sure if this is where it's gonna stay or where it's gonna live. If you have any opinions on where you like to put your bandsaw in your shop, let me know down in the comments below. So I do have a second bandsaw, which is on the opposite side of the shop, that is 110 volt and is gonna run a smaller band on it. So I'm gonna keep this probably primarily for resawing, so I do need the infeed and outfeed capabilities. What's gonna go behind me is some tool storage, the drill press station, a toolbox that you guys are used to seeing there. So I will have the opportunity to hit this thing with a lot of infeed and outfeed, but I'm not really sure if this is the best spot for it, if I should put it in the middle of the floor, so I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. So now we're at the back of the shop where I'm gonna be having my hand tool workbench. If you guys have been watching a lot of my content recently, you've noticed that I put a lot more emphasis on using hand tools, and I'm stoked that I'm gonna have an entire station, an area dedicated to doing so. So I'm about 12 to 14 feet from the outfeed of the planer and the drum sander. This area is going to be used for the actual assembly of whatever I'm deciding to make in the wood shop. And with that, it gives me opportunity to work in front of me where I'm going to have some mobile workbenches to use as well. And the flow of the work coming from the table saw to break down through the planer down to its final cut and dimension stages gives me an opportunity to kind of keep things in a streamlined capacity, similar to my old shop, which was a U workflow, which came in one side and went kind of back out the other. Here I'm in more of like a down the line, back out the line type thing, but it's the way this building is shaped, so it's how I'm gonna have to work. Now with that, I've never been in a professional shop, and I'm curious if any of you have. For all you pros out there that watch my stuff, I'd love to know what your favorite workflow in your shop is. Leave a comment down in the description for me. So the last big piece of equipment in the shop that you're used to seeing from the last place is gonna be my CNC machine. I'm gonna have it on the end of the main trunk coming from the dust collection, which will be by the wall at the beginning of the shop. Here I'm gonna be able to keep it away from a lot of the other stuff happening, as well as not being in the middle and or in the way of anything else because it's up against the wall. It's a 2x4 foot CNC. It's pretty quiet, and having it at the end of the trunk should give plenty of dust collection coming down and reducing to its 4-inch hood and whatnot. But I'm stoked to finally be able to do more CNC work now that I don't have a ton of stuff clustered around it. So this dumpster fire behind me, which is where we've been throwing all the stuff that we've been moving, is actually gonna be the metal shop. It's pretty sweet. I'm gonna have a designated 25 by 25 foot room for all the metal working, and that'll keep the metal dust out of the woodworking shop, and I'm pretty stoked for it. We'll give you more details down the line as we continue to build that part out, but for the most part, that is my new wood shop. I'm super stoked about it. Can't not wait to build some sweet shit in here. It's got plenty of room to grow into, which my last two shops did not have. So let me know what you guys thought about this. This is the first vlog in the shop move. Next video, we're probably going to be doing some of the assembly of the tools, planning for the layout. We're gonna be doing the hand tool station, the outfeed table, and the miter saw station. So make sure you're subscribed if you wanna see those videos coming down the line. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank my sponsor, Woodcraft, for sponsoring this video, and go punch your next project in the face.